When you think about simping, it's pretty much a guy doing anything he can for a lady with nothing in return. You don't get her affection, you don't get her loyalty, and you definitely don't get booty clapping sounds. You don't get that. And typically what happens is you lose your dignity in the process. Typically the lady you're trying to chase after, you can find somebody better than that if you just improve yourself, or just, as some of you young folks say, stand on business. But simping is just not a romantic thing. Simping can also be a business thing. It can also be a political thing. Now, in politics, it's very convoluted. As the old saying goes, politics create strange bedfellows. And there are things that people can do to get you to simp for them when you really don't need them to. Because even if they pay you some money, and it still causes harm to others, it's still simping. Like, for example, if I take a $100,000 deal on my YouTube channel to promote a shady Bitcoin, let's call it Gigacoin, and Gigacoin is a scam, and I take that $100,000 and all of my fans lose $10 million and they come back and destroy me, I just simped in the wrong way. And I put my fans at a very big disadvantage. That's what celebrities are doing. Ricky Smiley, he's simping for Kamala Harris. Steve Harvey, he's simping for Kamala Harris.
Ain't trying to stay on course, so just let me go off this paper for a minute. Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk. Because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing, so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for Honey Dunk. Because they done a lot, man. But we see, I'm on this radio show and I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show. They know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how we gonna ask for something next time? If you ain't got no voting power, you talking about reparations. Ain't nobody finna give you no reparations and you don't vote? Why, you think they finna give us some money? No how, man. I hope they do. They owe us. I'll go down there. I'm sorry. Madam, I know I ain't coming back next year. Appreciate y'all having me.
And at the same time, they're simping for Kamala Harris. They're trying to punish people who don't want anything to do with Kamala Harris. Certain people that can't be bought in the black community, like Tariq Nasheed. Now, Tariq Nasheed, I mean, hey, they have the money to pay them, but Tariq Nasheed is an op to the DNC. This is exactly why Tariq Nasheed said on August 12th, hey DNC, when you send your paid plantation flunkies to social media spaces to regurgitate your discrediting tactics against me and other influencers, can you tell them not to be so sloppy and obvious? At least have them reword things from their multiple accounts. Now, why are we saying that? Both of these accounts have the same thing. This is Tariq Nasheed, FBA Plan. You see that one, and then you see this other account that's saying the same thing. But there's somebody else out there who is gonna expose another plan out there for the DNC. Dr. Umar Johnson. Dr. Umar Johnson, whether we agree with him or not all the time, and I definitely don't, has been calling out Democratic shills who are out here trying to sell black people out. It ain't trying to sell black folks out, they selling them out. And you know what I always say, people who are loyal to money are loyal to nothing. But more on that as I go along. Fast forward! Dr. Umar Johnson went to social media to pretty much put Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley in their place.
Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey, listen. If Uncle Steve Harvey and Uncle Ricky Smiley want to go hard for Kamala Harris, that is their business. If Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey want to go hard for Kamala Harris, they have a right to do that. They have a right to do that. What they don't have a right to do is shame other Africans into voting for her. They cannot do that. They were wrong for that. You can't shame people into not voting for someone who has no record of doing nothing for them. Steve Harvey's logic didn't make any sense. He said if we don't vote, we won't get nothing. Well, you've been voting and you ain't got nothing. It's time to hold the vote until we get something. It's time to hold the vote until we get something. Ricky Smiley, I love my brother, but he was pretty emotional. He's talking about Supreme Court Justice Ketanji swearing in Vice President Harris. They both belong to Black Greek fraternities. They'll get sworn in on Dr. King's Earth Day. That's all empty symbolism. We're done with that. That's all empty symbolism. We're done with that. That's all empty symbolism. We're done with that. You have to give us tangibles, not symbols, Brother Ricky Smiley. Tangibles, not symbols. One is a AKA, one is a Delta. What that got to do with miseducation? One is a AKA, one is a Delta. What that got to do with mass incarceration? One is a AKA, one is a Delta. What that got to do with gentrification and homelessness? That is nothing but empty symbolism. The member of one black sorority swearing in the member of another black sorority on the solar return of a brother, ancestor, Dr. King, who belonged to a black male fraternity. That's all fine and well. But telling black people they should vote for the symbol, telling black people they should vote for the symbol is not going to serve us, Brother Ricky. We need substance, my brothers.
But that's not all. He then came back with the heat and said this.
Black vote ain't for sale no more. Black vote ain't for sale. We bartering on business. We standing on business. Bring us some tangibles or get out of my face. Ricky Smiley, I love you. But crying on the radio for Kamala Harris, my brother, that's an all-time low. Don't do that again, Ricky Smiley. Don't you get on your radio show and cry for Kamala. Don't you do that, my brother. If you want to cry for Kabama Harris, if you want to cry for Kabama Harris, you do that in the privacy of your house. But if we're going to be honest, Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley, and I love you both, no hate to my big brothers. But if we're going to be honest, Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey, y'all only carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Can we please be honest? Can we see? I want y'all to understand, overstand, and understand what King Kong is talking about. Y'all carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Kamala Harris and the Democratic plantation is paying you celebrities, paying you to shame black people into voting. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of the vote, but they being paid. Y'all being bought. They offer me $10K for an interview with Kamala Harris. I don't want your money, but we can definitely do the interview. They offer me $10K for an interview with Kamala Harris. Yes, we can do the interview. Keep your damn money. King Kong consciousness ain't for sale. I'm one of the real ones. Silverback Garvey Gorilla. I'm one of the real ones. Silverback Garvey Gorilla. Don't come to me with no propositions for money. I don't live for no money. I'm not one of these goofy rappers whose whole life is nothing but what you can buy and own. You dealing with real African DNA. This is real ancestral energy over here. I'm not no Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. You don't drop no check off and say, get the Negroes to the plantation on November the 4th. You don't drop no check off and say, get the Negroes to the plantation.
He came with the receipts to show that the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris wanted $10,000 for an interview. And it wasn't an interview. No. See what Steve Harvey said, I'm not gonna ask no hard questions. Y'all want me to ask the hard questions. Nah. See, if you don't vote, we can't get no reparations. That's why Dr. Umar said, listen, you're actually wrong. You've been voting for all them years and ain't got nothing, right? But let's continue. Then Dr. Umar Johnson went and said, I'll give you the debate, but I don't want your money. And the reason why they're not going to take that is because Dr. Umar Johnson is going to ask some tough questions. He'll probably ask questions like this.
And on the other side of the aisle, with our Asian American, South Asian American, occasionally black candidate Kamala Harris, she sat in the White House with President Biden for 4 years and watched him pass an anti-Asian hate bill. She watched him pass an anti-transgender hate bill. She watched him give billions of dollars to Ukraine and Afghanistan. She watched him purge and gentrify black people out of Chicago and New York, among other cities, because we now know that there are migrant crises growing in other cities. And she did nothing. And this is after she said on an interview that she can't do anything just for black people. Well, if you can't do anything just for black people, Vice President Harris, how was it possible? Excuse me, how is it possible for you guys to do something just for gays, just for Asians, just for Native Americans, just for migrants? Complete contradiction. And so for me, at this point right now, with 3 months to go until the November 5th election, Baba David, I don't have a reason to vote for either of them.
Oh yeah, the tough questions that hold people accountable. And see, this is not what they're trying to do. This is not what they want to do. They don't want to do that. No. They're looking for black folks to buy. And again, remember, Kamala Harris is raising all of this money from black people, white people. So they're reinvesting that money, not only on commercials and billboard campaigns, but in the black social media spaces. Kai Cenat talked about the fact that they offered him an opportunity, some other streamers, and now they're trying to get to the organic grassroots. People like Dr. Umar or people like Tariq, them people that have big on the ground followings that have, some camaraderie with Black America. They want them to turn for the Democratic Party for only $10,000. And even if it was $1 million and you got the million, you're still leading the community you say you love into a burning house. Even if it was $1 billion, you're still doing that. And you can't be a person that say you love black people and keep leading your people into burning houses, like Steve Harvey, like Ricky Smiley out there crying, Roland Martin. You can't tell me that those people are really people that love the black community when under Democratic rule, we've already seen what's going on. All they care about is getting that check. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.